Hey guys, my name is John Smith. Welcome to this kind of tutorial I'll be giving to housing parkour creators on Hypixel. Now, on Hypixel parkour, I'm seeing a lot of people reusing the same old jumps, like this squeezing jump, to give difficulty to their map, or just to give a jump, just like to fill space in their parkour map. And I've been seeing the same stuff, like let's say the 4.5, and they don't create it very well either. Like, they do this kind of ladder fence thing where you shift to the edge of the ladder. It's kind of strange. You get the occasional single neo that's used a lot when people want to make their map kind of difficult, but it doesn't do that much in difficulty. And I've just mentioned earlier this thing, which is used way too often, and I don't think the difficulty is intended because that's really a difficult jump. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to spice it up a little, add more jump variety, stop reusing the same old jumps. And so, oh crap, what did I do? Let's start with the good old length jump mechanics. So, most people are going to give you a 4.5 block jump when they're like, hey man, let's make some difficulty, and they're just going to give you like this row of blocks to give yourself momentum on. And it's very poorly designed. I mean, at least they know you need momentum to do it, but it's just not, there's nothing, it's hard to figure out. I mean, well, it's hard to argue this, but it's just not well designed. They didn't put thought into it, is what I'm trying to say. And so what you really want to do is you want to make the intelligent setup. So I need to move this over a little bit. So this is a basic 4.5 setup that you, essentially, it's like one of the easiest. And it's just like a piece of cake. You just got to get into the timing groove. And it's very simple. But something people don't, so that you should set up your 4.5s like that unless you have another golden setup. What people don't know is that you can go further with this. It doesn't stop at the 4.5. You can go to the 4.75, and this is not a 4.75, but this is a 5 block jump, but it's going down by 0.375 height. Here's the 4.75, and you just got to get into the groove of the timing, and then yeah, you can overjump, underjump. It gets very precise, and that's why I like these jumps, because it tests your precision, your accuracy, your skill. And so I'm seeing more of these jumps. Let's talk about these jumps. Like, it's not even a jump, really. You just go along the edge, or sometimes it's under a ceiling, and then you just go like that. You just, like, walk along the ladders, and the only way I'd see it's difficult if you have to come in on an angle like this. But most of the time it's like this, and then you just like turn in on the fence. And so, either, unless you guys want to make it like this, where you do the angle and it's difficult, whereas in you can hit the fence and fall down, or you can miss the ladder completely. Other ways to make this jump difficult is to make you grab it. Let's change the setup here, so that if you don't shift quick enough, you fall. Like, check this out. Okay, bad example. Whatever. And so, it's not only fences that you can do this with, right? Like, you can't do it with cobble walls, those are too fat. You can do it with iron bars, though 1.8, 1.9, iron bars are different, and you might be getting lag back issues, so I'm not sure. Let's talk about the squeezing parkour. Now, this is always used in, like, every Hypixel parkour map I've seen. And so, if you want to know how to do this, because it is very difficult, if you can walk between these, like, on the floor when you're, failed the jump, you'll notice that if you look at my y coordinate, sometimes it's the x coordinate, you can see that it changes by a 0.025 difference. And so you have to be between that 0.25. Let's see, let's get like 940. That's between 925 and 950. And so all the time you're going to either face exactly 90.0, which is 90.1, doesn't make much difference, but sometimes it does. Either that or like 180, negative 180, negative 90, or 0, and you're facing either of those depending on which way the fence thing faces. So you just run straight through, and if you got the coordinates, if you got the setup, it's a piece of cake, right? But most of the time, I'm pretty sure that the map creator doesn't want it to be this difficult. They just wanted an interesting jump to throw in. So what you can do is you can, make it, spice it up a little with these different counterparts of the jump, and then it makes it much easier, and it still has the same mechanics. See, this one, instead of 0.025 difference, it's a 0.150 difference. This one's a 0.275 difference, and so it becomes much more fun, right? You can do a lot more with that jump. You don't have to reuse this same jump over and over again. It's getting stale, man. Come on. Let's talk about the Neo. I see a lot of Neos going around just to add in some difficulty to your map, right? There's the double Neo, which I see kind of rarely, but this should be used more often with momentum, please. And you guys can spice up with the Neos, right? Like, I mean, you can do the gap Neos where it's kind of like, whoa, super tough. You can do crazy stuff with Neos, man. I made a Neo tutorial, and watch out. Be on the lookout for that XZ coordinate thing. I'll show that in the video. You know, do cobble Neos. Between the Neos, go crazy, man. Check this one out. You can do all sorts of things with Neos. Trapdoors, making it insane. I'd recommend putting on iron, though. What am I saying? The winged Neos, I like to call these. And these are the algebra Neos. It gets really... The world of Neos is really large. It's really insane. You can do ladder Neos, where you have to go behind the block. You can do a lot. Soul Side Neos, Ice Neos, whatever. These are all the gap Neos. And if you got access to slime blocks, well, you just go insane, man. Like, check this out. Don't use the slime blocks for the... I suck at that. Don't use the slime blocks just for the regular old fall and then get back up, like, by 2 blocks. Wow. Also, I wouldn't recommend Iron Bar Neo, because I don't think he's working 1.9 and cause lag back. Head Hitter Neo. You go insane. Diagonal Neo over there. And I made a video on this earlier. You can go check that one out, too. And so I'd recommend adding more triple Neos if you have really hard parkour. But triple Neos cannot be done without momentum, and I'd recommend 4 blocks of momentum, at least, for a triple Neo. Another thing I want to talk about is, you know, people do a lot of room parkour, right? So, you have to watch out for the 3-block ceiling and other ceilings like it. So when you have a 3-block ceiling, it makes it much harder to do jumps. I mean, I don't think this is possible anymore. It just hampers how far you can jump by a lot. I'll just line these two up together, and you'll see how I'm not making it further on the 3-block jumps, actually. I think 3-block jumps under the 3-block roof become more like a 3.5. And that's another thing I want to talk about. It gets worse when you do jumps like this. When you try and make them squeeze under a 2-block ceiling, that's really hard. Very difficult. I don't think you want to have that in your map, right? Like, even 2 blocks under a 2-block ceiling. It's difficult, so watch out for this. If you have a 3.5 high ceiling, well, that's fine. There's no difference, but watch out for stuff like this. And I also want to talk about stuff like when you try and make people jump into the 2-block ceiling hole, setting up your jumps like this. Wait, how was it again? I think it's like this. This is not a fun jump, and then you tell them to, there's usually a sign up here that says, don't jump, just sprint, because if you jump, you will never make it through. I don't know how Minecraft works like this. So, it's kind of like random when you make it through. Especially if there's no momentum. I don't know how you're supposed to do it if you're supposed to go in at a big enough speed. Like when you run through, I don't know if there's a strategy to getting momentum. It's really weird. Don't do this. It's really bad. And so be wary. Like, test out the jumps, because sometimes it's hard to get, like, it's not fun when you're getting into the last hole of the map and then you don't know how to do it, because 2-block ceilings work. They perform very strangely. So always test stuff like this, because I don't like going into maps and having to remember and find out how all this works. Of course, you could say something about the how memorizing this, how the behavior of 2-block ceilings, that's a skill, memorization, I suppose. Let's go into jumps that I want to teach you guys. So, I suppose I would like this added into the Hypixel parkour housing. It's kind of a staple, I would suppose, in big parkour servers. See here, this is called the Trapdoor Riddle. And most people are going to come up here, and probably if you put this in housing, you're going to have a row of people just sitting here. They're going to be like, how do I do this, man? Wow, what? No, God. I had struggling up for like 5 minutes myself when I first arrived. And so there are 2 main methods of doing this. It's a bit of a pickle. So you can start like this, both up, right? and as you run up, as you jump up, you flip this while you're like at this area. You flip it so that you clip through it and then land on there. So I'll show you. Crap, see it's both timing on your jump and your click. And here's the other method. You stand on the bottom one, have the top one flipped up, and then you do the double switcheroo, and you just land on by clipping. And so they both require clipping methods. Very difficult. Another thing I want to show you guys is click parkour. Now, click parkour, you see, well, I don't know if it's good in Hypixel parkour housing, because I don't know if you have access to minecarts and boats. I'm not that familiar with Hypixel. So, it relies on your timing for when you click your mouse to enter the vehicle. This boat is too far out. Let's not do that right now. Of course, if you have no boats or minecarts, you can just do it with a trapdoor or a door, right? Oh, I have to flip this up first. So first make sure this type of jump is impossible, then you flip it. You can do that with doors too, I suppose. Another thing I want to wear you guys about is the iron bars. Because remember, on 1.8, iron bars are different from 1.9. These are 1.8 iron bars, and 1.9 iron bars, I'm pretty sure they're kind of just like straight poles, like more like this, but thinner, right? So it causes lag back in 1.8. I'm not sure if it causes lag back in 1.9. Watch out for that. And another thing, I think in 1.8 iron bars, maybe 1.9, watch out for this, because if you have a iron bar in the wall, and, well, it's hard to explain the setup, but if you have it like this, they can just walk across. So if you're trying to do an iron bar Neo, don't do it like that. You have to get rid of the bottom one, right? But this also opens up other opportunities for jumps, right? Like, if people don't know about this mechanic and they're like, wow, how do I do this? How do I get around to that jump right there? Well, you just slide over here and you perform it like that. It's really crazy. And you can do it the opposite way too, right? I mean, you can jump onto the little ledge like that. It also works for cobble walls, see? Cobble walls, sometimes their behavior. You can create the Neo like that. It's pretty strange stuff. And don't be afraid to experiment, guys. I'm going to show you this really strange backwards slime block Neo. That's insane jumps, man. If you can come up with stuff like that, it's a fun time. Might I mention this iron bar stuff also works with panes. And so, is that all I have to show you? I think I've gone over mostly everything, right? Yeah. Don't confine yourself to the basic old block jumps, boring old, you know, whatever, block jumps, room parkour. Go wild, man. Just create these crazy jumps going all over the place. Do stuff with soul sand ice. That's what I recommend. Making variety, because regular block jumps are boring. Make some fence jumps, ladders, Neos. Do it all.